Hey guys, Mr. Roden here. Right now you should have a white piece of paper, a pencil, and a straight edge. And today what we're going to learn about is linear and nonlinear graphs. And we're going to use a very cool tool that I'm going to show you today, all right? And I can't remember if we've done this tool or not. So what I need you guys to do is go ahead and do your paper folds, okay? Now, again, like the videos I've done in the past, there's going to be a secret code that I'm going to tell you, and you will not get any credit for this assignment unless you write the secret code down. And I'll tell you what the secret code is and where to write it shortly. So what I need you to do is just do the standard. Take your paper, okay? So if this is your paper, and then obviously it has two sides. Okay, so we got our front and we got our back, okay? And then I want you guys to go ahead and fold your paper like this, just like we normally do. So you fold your paper like this, and then we get our 8 squares. All right, and you should be doing this, following these directions, because I'm going to be watching other classes, so I might not be able to help you fold this. So pay close attention. And then we get our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you would need probably pause the video, go ahead and do your folds, and then play me when you've got your folds and your paper folded. Okay, welcome back. Now I want you to go ahead and put your name in box 1. Okay, I want you to put your name in box 1, please. And today we're going to be talking about linear and nonlinear equations. So now I want you to take your straight edge, and I want you to make a nice coordinate graph in each one of the boxes. But what I want to show you something here is, and I have this wrong, make sure you leave a little bit of space off to the side. Okay, I'm going to make this a little bit smaller each time. So make sure you leave a little bit of space off to the side, because we're going to write some things in this space here. So what I need you to do now is, after you see the directions, pause the video and make what I'm making here. So you're just going to go through. I'm going to just copy these, and I want you to put a graph in each one of the boxes. And I want you to make it a nice graph, okay? So go ahead and do that for each one. Put it in each box. I'm going to do that. I'm just copying and pasting. You're actually making it with your straight edge right now. Okay. All right. Okay, so you have, so right now, hopefully you have all this. Notice we have graphs, really nice made graphs, and then we have a space off to the side. So what I need you to do now is I need you to write in each one of these boxes, and I'm going to make, like, my box number 1, I'm going to make this bigger so you can see it, okay? So pretend that this is my box number 1 right here. Okay, so this is just box number 1. So I'll make it even bigger than that. Okay, so that's box number 1. And then we have our graph, just kind of like this, like about this size here. And then we have some space off to the side, right? So this is, and then all the other graphics. Now in box 1, you have your name. Now don't forget, I'm going to give you a secret code at some time, and you're going to write it in a very special place so you can get credit. Now, on each one of these boxes, you notice how you have a little space off to the right. Right here, you have some space. I want you to write the word equation. And then I want you to write linear. Down here, I want you to write linear. And then I want you to write y/n question mark. Okay? So what we're going to do is I'm going to give you a bunch of equations here, and you are going to write them here, and I'll show you how you're going to graph them. Now, some of you're going to do 8 equations, so I'm going to give you 8 equations right now, okay? So equation number 1, all you're going to do is just write it, is y equals 3x plus 5. So in box 1, you're going to write the equation y equals 3x plus 5. Okay? And remember, box 1 has your name in it also. Okay. Now I want you to move over to box 2. So now pretend this is box 2. You didn't have your name in box 2. And then, so this is box 2. And then you're going to have a new equation in box 2. And the equation I want you to write in box 2 is y equals 3 over x plus 5. So the equation I want you to write in box 2 is y equals 3 over x plus 5. Okay? And so that's box 2. Now go down to box 3. So I'll erase this and I'll erase this equation. So go to box 3. And the equation I want you to write in box 3 is y equals 7. Y equals 7. So I want you to write that equation in box 3, please. All right. In the equation in box 4, I want you to write the equation y. This is box 4. Box 4, I want you to write the equation y equals 3x to the second power, a little power of 2 on the x right there. And this is box 4. All right, in box 5, the equation I want you to write is in box 5, I want you to write the equation 3x plus 4y equals negative 2. I want you to write that equation. 3x plus 4y equals negative 2 in box 5. In box 6, what I want you to do is I want you to, here's box 6. In box number 6, I want you to write the equation y equals 4x squared plus 2x minus 1. I want you to write that equation right there in box 6. Y equals 4x squared plus 2x minus 1. In box 7, in box number 7, I want you to write the equation. Y equals x plus 9. Y equals x plus 9. Y equals x plus 9. And in box 8, the last box, I want you to write the equation y equals x to the third power minus 4. Okay? So now we have our entire graphs filled in with the equations, right? I filled in all these equations, right? Because I just had you do that. Remember, just keep an ear out for your secret code so you can get credit for this assignment. All right, now the next thing I need you to do is I need you to go to, and I'm going to pull up a Google page here, a clean Google page here, and I want you to go to Desmos.com. And I can't remember if I did Desmos with you guys. It's DESMOS.com. And what Desmos.com is it's a graphing calculator. So you may have to hit graphing calculator there because once you pull it up, it'll always be there. But right now I have graphing calculator up, okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take each one of those equations and I'm going to put them in Desmos and I'm going to sketch that graph in my box that I saw. Now, what I would recommend is that you come up to my desk and get a colored pencil so you can sketch your graphs with a colored pencil. And if you come up here, and that'll show me that you're paying attention, is if you come up here and get a colored pencil just to sketch your graphs, not to write anything else, just so you can kind of see your graph a little better. So when you come up, colored pencils will be right on my desk right here, and I'll know who's paying attention and who's watching the video because you'll come up and grab a colored pencil. So remember, guys, in box 1, we have the equation y equals 3x plus 5. So let me put that in really quick. So I have the equation. Now, how do I do that? Let me do something here. Minimize this a little bit. I'm looking for my thing here. So I type in the equation. Now down here, because I'm taping this, let's see if I can move this. So I can move this all the way. Oh, I can move it here. Okay. So in Desmos, there we go. I have this little keyboard right here. I like to use that keyboard right there. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter in that keyboard really quick here. So I'm going to, and so let me get rid of my face. I don't need my face anymore. And so my first equation is y equals 3x plus 5. So I go y equals, so I hit y equals 3x plus 5. Okay, now there's the graph. Now I want you to zoom in about so you can see 10 on each side. See how there's a 10, there's a 10 and a 10 and a 10, pretty much. So zoom into your about where you can see all the 10s there. So, and then I want you to go to, and I just want you to look at that. And then I want you to go over to take your paper, and I won't be able to see it. So I'm going to take my paper and I'm going to sketch that graph. Okay, and I'm going to use my straight edge. So I'm going to use my line maker tool. Now I'm not going to put any numbers in there. And remember, guys, you have a colored pencil now, so you're going to do it in a color. And I'm just going to sketch that graph. So y equals 3x plus 5, and it looks something, if I remember, something like this, right? And I just sketch the graph just like that. Okay. Now the next equation, I'm going to do the same exact thing with number 2. So I'm going to go back to my Desmos.com, and now I'm going to put in equation number 2. Now, equation number 2 was, let's see here, equation number 2 was y equals, so I'll go y equals, not y equals, but just y equals, and that equation was 3 divided by, because it's over, remember a fraction means divided by, x, and then I need to arrow over to get out of the denominator, and then I had plus 5. And there's the graph. Now this one looks pretty weird, right? This graph looks pretty weird, so I'm just going to kind of look at it and see how it looks. All right, and now I'm going to go to my my sketch for number 2, box 2, and then I'm going to draw that graph there. And it looks something, if I remember right, it looks something like this. Go back and take a look here. And then it looks something like that. So I'm going to sketch that. Now you'll have it right in front of you, so yours will probably be something. So it looks something like this, right? And remember, you're doing it in your color here, so it won't be a pencil. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to fill in the rest of these graphs. And it's going to take you a while. So pause the video, put each one of these equations into Desmos, and then I want you to sketch the graph of each one. Now, and if you need help, one thing is when you get to the powers of 2 and you want to enter a power of 2 in, the best way, let's say like on number 6, if I wanted to enter in number 6, I'll just show you that. So how do you do a power of 2? So number 6 is y equals 4 to the second power. So 4 times x, and I hit this little a to the b, and that'll bring me up and make it an exponent. And then it looks like my exponent on that one is 2. And then if I hit arrow over, it'll put me back down. And then 2x plus 4x squared plus 2x minus 1. So, and then however that graph, and I'm going to erase that. So you can just go back and put that in. But I was just saying that you hit the best key, this little x to the y key or a to the b key is the way to go there. Sound good? All right, so your job is to go ahead and fill the rest of these in. And I'll tell you, once you have all your graphs sketched, you'll have some lines and some weird looking graphs. Then I'll tell you what you're going to do next, okay? All right, so welcome back. Right now, if you're listening to me now, you should have all of your equations graphed. All right, now what I want you to do is I want you to go through each one, and I want you to put a star next to the linear equations. Like number 1 is a linear equation. Now, how do I know number 1 is a linear equation? Because it's a line. Okay, it doesn't have any curves on it. It's a line. I can take my straight edge and I can put it straight through. So number 1, you're going to put a star if it's linear. Number 2 is nonlinear, because you see how we have this curve when we looked at the graph. There's some curves involved with number 1, 2. So now you're going to put let's put a hashtag like that next to the nonlinear graphs. So now what I want you to do is I want you to go through and either put a star if it's linear or a hashtag if it's nonlinear, okay? So if it's linear, you should have a star in the corner, but you also write, when it says linear, remember how I said linear, I said something like linear y/n question mark. You need to circle the y if it's linear. On this one, number 2, linear y/n, you're going to circle the n because it's nonlinear. And you're going to do that for each one of those graphs. Okay, so pause the video now and do that for each one of those graphs. So all 8 graphs need to be filled in, and you're going to go back and use Desmos on that. Okay, so I'm paused right now. If you've unpaused me, you have all of your graphs filled in. You have sketches. You have either a star or a hashtag, depending on if it's linear or nonlinear. And then you're either going to have a Y circled or an N circled. Now, right now, what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead in box number 7. I want you to write this at the very bottom of box 7. I want you to write in the bottom of box 7, if anywhere you have space, not all graphs are linear. I want you to write that sentence. Not all graphs are linear. In box 7, I'll know that you did this assignment because in box 7, I want you to write not all graphs are linear. Okay, so what have we accomplished so far? We've gone through, we've gotten all of our graphs in. We've put hashtags and stars for linear, hashtags for nonlinear, and then we've also decided linear, nonlinear with the y/no. This is why how I know you're paying attention if you're doing all these steps that I'm telling you. Now, the last thing I want you to do is I want you to tell me which ones we're going to make a question here. So once you get done with this, I want you to come up and grab a piece of half graph paper, and you'll staple this to this piece of paper. So I'm going to have a half piece of graph paper up here, okay? So this is a piece of graph paper. This is just a half piece of lined paper, white paper. So a half piece of computer paper, and I'll have that up on my desk, okay? And you can just come get it when you get. Put your color marker back in the bucket, and I want you to answer this question, okay? I want you to come answer this question on this piece of paper, and then you can staple it to your other paper, and this is going to be your assignment for the rest for this class that you'll get points. And I want you to answer this question on this half piece of computer paper. Here's the question. The question is this: is there a way to decide if an equation is linear or nonlinear without graphing the equation? Okay, I want you to think about that for a second. Now, at this point, you should know that box 1, which is y equals 3x plus 5, and box 2, which is 3x plus 4y equals negative 2, and no, this is box 3, my bad. Box 5, oh, sorry guys, box 3 is y equals 7. Sorry, I read that wrong. Box 5 is 3x plus 4y equals negative 2. And box 7 is y equals x plus 9. Now, all of these guys, these were all linear. They were all lines. Okay, so hopefully you got that. So these should all have stars next to them in their boxes. Okay, these over here, box 2, which was the equation y equals 3 over x plus 5. Box 4, which is y equals 3x squared. Box 6, which is y equals 4x squared plus 2x minus 1. And box 8, which was y equals x to the third power minus 4. These guys were all nonlinear. Okay, these guys were all nonlinear. Let me move this over a little bit. So on this half piece, these are nonlinear. So you should have a hashtag next to each one of these because they're nonlinear. And in this case, you should have circled no for each one of these because they're not linear. Because when we graph them, they were curves. All right. So the question is this: is there a way to decide if an equation is linear or nonlinear without graphing the equation? Now, guys, here's the deal. We've always just done linear. This whole year, we've done a lot of linear equations in y equals mx plus b. We've done all these linear equations. Now, how are these nonlinear equations different, though? Look at the equation. Is there a way to say they're nonlinear? Well, there's a couple clues here. On number 2, let me do this. I'm going to put it in yellow here. On number 2, guys, the variable x is in the denominator. We've never graphed an equation that has an x in the denominator. That made it nonlinear. We also have an x to the second power. We've never had a variable raised to the second power. That made it nonlinear. Also here we have an x to the second power. That made it nonlinear. And x to the third power also was nonlinear. So you should, in your answer, have something to say that about nonlinear graphs have x in the denominator or x raised to a power of 2 or higher. And that's how you know by just looking up the graph if it's nonlinear. There are other things that make it nonlinear, but for today, we're just going to say if x is in the denominator and or x, you have an x squared or an x cubed, or you could have an x to the fourth or x to the fifth. Any x to the power greater 2 or greater makes it nonlinear. Okay, guys, so that is your lesson for today. Please staple this piece of paper with your name on it, obviously in box 1. Remember that the secret code where that goes, make sure that is down there also, and have a wonderful day. Hopefully you guys, and we will see you guys later. Bye.